What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Carbonite Bounty BS with me and the nerds here. We do our live reaction of Boba Fett, or the Book of Boba Fett, excuse me, episode 4. So, real excited to get into this, man. Hopefully, a lot of people have watched this and are ready to discuss some of the things we're here to talk about tonight. But before we even get into that, let's let DP let you guys know where to find us at.
Nerdcyclopedia.com. People, make sure that you are going to that site, and there we have our your favorite platforms that you're on social media with, at Nerdcyclopedia on Facebook, Twitter, and also on Instagram. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure that you are subscribing to us and also hitting that notification button, so anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. Also, if you're watching us on Facebook, thank you for watching us on Facebook Live right now. Make sure that you are going to our Carbonite Bounty BS a Star Wars group, so you can actually leave memes and leave your favorite comments and everything on this episode and other episodes and stuff. If you are listening to us on your smartphone, also on radio or whatever, we are on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, we are there. And most of all, leave us some feedback at nerds@nerdcyclopedia.com. We love getting feedback from you, so we could give you feedback.
Appreciate
And before
that.
we move on, speaking of the Facebook group, I just feel that this week cannot go by without me wishing our number one poster, Thomas, a happy birthday. It is his birthday.
Happy birthday,
Thomas.
Hey.
Happy birthday. I'm sure you're watching this and judging it harshly. So happy birthday to you, and happy birthday.
Go easy.
Really big contributor to the group. Does a lot of exciting memes in our group posting. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, he's awesome.
The founding member of the Chewbacca Memorial Society. He kept us going through some rough times. So thanks so much. All right, sorry, had to call that out there. Thought it was a good.
No, appreciate it.
Right.
Good stuff. But as we delve into this episode 4 here, we'll start with you, DP. What were your first initial thoughts of this one?
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I liked every episode up until this one. And it's not to say I didn't like this episode. It was just it was not enough going on for me. I thought it was the whole him going back to the Sarlacc pit. I was kind of questioning, like, okay, you're going back there to try to find your armor. We as an audience know that the armor isn't there, but he doesn't know it's there, so that's fine. But we spent a lot of time there, and I sort of thought that Fennec was going to give him some stuff there. You're really going back to the den of the beast again. Why are you going back here to get this armor? I mean, and when you got the potential to fall back into the pit, and he puts his ship so close to the pit, you don't know what's going to happen. That was just I guess a nitpick of mine as far as like the episode. It wasn't a lot going on, as far as this episode for me. It did progress the plot slightly, and we got to see him gather like the families and stuff all together to state his case on before he goes like to war and everything. Other than that, it was some elements that was like pretty decent and everything. I did like them chasing out a rat catcher and stuff. That was pretty hilarious. And the whole meeting of him and Fennec Shan. I did like how that developed and everything. But overall, the episode was just kind of just regular. I wanted a little bit more this week.
Okay, can I go next?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so let me understand. So DP, I get it, right? But this episode to me was about the ship. It was about the Fire Spray 31 craft, right? So we have to maintain that through this. And the reason they went back to the Sarlacc pit is because they wanted to show the diversity of this craft. This is the first time we've ever seen this ship actually doing things. I mean, remember, a person like me, guy like me, I remember Empire Strikes Back. It landed and it took off. That was it. The next time I saw it do anything was in Attack of the Clones. And it was under the direction of Jango Fett. And it was direct off the showroom floor. No modifications. So now we have a ship that's been modified by the sun. And he's now flying it again after being through a huge journey of turmoil and just horror in that Sarlacc pit. Where would you go? You've got your best tool, like your EDC, your everyday carry tool, back. Where are you going to go? You're going to go back to where you got blasted and wasted, where your life actually almost ended. You're going to go back there and you're going to use that tool to its in everything it had.
Really?
So,
you're really going to go back to the place where your life almost ended? Okay.
I would absolutely go back. Now, my question is, why does he not know that he crawled his ass out of the sand in his armor?
That's what I was going to say. That's what I didn't understand.
What went on in his mind? He doesn't remember. He doesn't, maybe it was the damage was so bad that he doesn't remember. So he knows so we know the Jawas have it. We don't know what sandcrawler it's on, but so I get it, DP. I get that you think, man, what a wasted 15 minutes of my life. I'll never get back. Why did he go back to that pit? Well, because that was the turning point in his life where he knew something had to change.
Okay.
So he took that back. He got his ship back. He took it back there, and he used everything he had to try and get his armor back.
Okay.
So this episode for me, like, filled in so many big chunks. How did this all happen? How did he grab the throne, and why did he do that? And Mandalorian Book of Boba Fett crossover event in the background, like we're seeing the attempt on Fennec's life in the background, and Boba Fett now has to go across the dunes on his bantha to find out what that was. And I thought that was the great moment to me in the whole episode, was when he found Fennec and fixed her up, modded her.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
That's
great.
That's that episode to me.
Just gave me chills, bros. But I would definitely give it for me, it's definitely a 10 out of 10 for real, yo. So I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to say anything. So go ahead, T-Mitch. Blast me. I don't care.
No, I'll go. We'll save his for last, but I'm kind of caught between both of you personally. I understand where both sides are coming from. I was kind of like in the middle. I mean, I'm just excited to get the content, so I'm a sucker regardless. I mean, I guess if I'm being harsh, I'll give it a 9.9 instead of a 10, because I'll deduct a little bit. It did move a little slow, like DP said. There were some times I was just like expecting a little more, and I mean, I know we talked about it and other things. I think the big gripe with a lot of people is Boba's not like this badass bounty hunter anymore. As Ken alluded to, he's more of a refined person. He's now leading essentially the crime syndicate. So we've seen through his trials and tribulations with the Tusken Raiders taking him on, there's been a whole change of character. Maybe that switch does click when the war starts, but up to now he's been pretty subdued and trying to be more pacifistic in his ways. So definitely like the development of him as a person. I'd like to him now exactly as we stated, out of the back to tank. He's 100%. So we shouldn't have any more scenes of that, right? So that's a good thing. He's fully powered up now. He had his moment. So excited to see that, and excited to see where we go forward. As we discussed offline here, as the episode concluded, we got the Mandalorian, one of the theme songs to that, when they're trying to hire crew and warriors. So be interested to see who shows up as far as the muscle. Maybe we get a Hondo, maybe we get some space pirates, a lot of things, but we were expecting 4 to be that big kind of splash episode. It looks like episode 5 will be that next one coming up here. What about you, Hitch?
All right, so I don't get you guys. We sit here and we talk about all these different mediums, and you talk about how much you like them, and I'm critical. And then this episode happens, and I'm like just seriously sitting there thinking, this is awesome. Literally the whole time, every single scene, I was like, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome. Every single one. I love this episode of television, and I think that it has a lot to do with seeing the evolution of Boba Fett from the feared bounty hunter to the feared, daimyo, the feared leader of the house. And I think that this episode cashed in a lot of stuff for me. Boba got revenge in a ruthlessly Mandalorian way. Just says, I have this ship, and guess what? And just blows those guys all up, right? Just bang. Perfect. Really great scene. Love that. Love the whole infiltration of Jabba's palace. The little spy droid thing was awesome. Something we haven't really seen in Star Wars before, but really, really cool. We get more of the techno cyborg people. Bigger thing in the Star Wars universe now, so I guess that's sticking. So that's cool. So glad to see they're sticking with some of this stuff. And the Sarlacc stuff, you're right. Probably should have remembered that he climbed out of there in that armor. But he had some scores to settle, and I am just a super duper hardcore mark for the seismic charge. Anytime he pulls that thing out, I'm just like, yes! And I was like yelling yes as it was tumbling down into the Sarlacc. So for me, we got Boba Fett settling scores in a ruthlessly efficient way and explaining why, he's being merciful. So explaining that away. Did we get some meta stuff? Sure. Do we get them saying, like, we don't have to worry about the backstory anymore? That story is done. You know what I mean? We're not going to use the back to tank anymore as a storytelling device. So there was some cool stuff like that. But for me, this really just checked all the boxes. This was Boba Fett the way I wanted to see him. I really, really, really liked it.
It filled in everything. It explained, it answered a whole bunch of questions. It just, because I remember watching, I don't remember what episode it was in Mandalorian. It was the first season, right? Where we saw that we knew that was Boba Fett, but we didn't know how that was going to fit in. And now here it's now connected. I think now that everything is, we have a universe now, we have a timeline that they can do whatever they want right now. I mean, they can put anybody in anywhere and we'll be like, yeah, because that happened in episode 14 in season 6 of this, and that it all makes sense. I don't think they could do any wrong right now.
It's interesting because with Boba Fett, I feel that this series is like giving him a personality where we didn't really see a whole lot of that, like, I guess, beforehand. As T-Mitch sort of alluded to a bit. I mean, you're seeing different facets of this guy where you didn't really, he didn't really have much of a personality in like the movies or anything. I mean, he was more of a silent, bounty hunter, and said a couple words and bam, that was basically it. Sometimes I feel that the Mandalorian was supposed to be him, but since we already got the Mandalorian, we're getting Boba Fett in a different type. So they had to figure out, okay, well, we already got Mandalorian. We can't do another Mandalorian, but it needs to be Boba Fett. So we need to figure out, how we're going to, present this character. A lot of the stuff that's going on with him is making sense as far as like, the backstory and, how it is. It's just, it's new, and it's not bad. It's like I said, this episode for me it was just regular, and it could have offered me, I guess as your casual neutral, as T-Mitch likes to say, a lot more, as far as the plot.
You're official now. We can't use the neutral tag anymore.
But hold up though. You guys are, so where I'm coming from, I'm not as deeply immersed with years of buildup as you guys are. You three. You guys got a build up of Star Wars shit. I mean, it's embedded in your DNA. This is not in my DNA yet. This is getting there with a lot of this stuff, but I'm just jumping on board. So I mean, it's we lost Ken there.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. We lost him.
He'll pop right back in. That's Ken out of Ken, folks. But yeah, I mean, it's this has been in you guys' DNA for so long. So much about the universe. It's expectations there, and you both, have said that you guys are like suckers and marks and stuff. To this stuff. So I mean, you're predisposed to every element. For the most part. You just happy to get like content, and he's like the mark over here.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I just think that Boba Fett is so central to this mythos that they have to give him something more to do than just be Boba Fett. Because anybody can just be some ruthless a-hole with a blaster and a mask. Like that could be anybody. And Boba Fett occupies a central position, you know, not just in like the toy lexicon, like the collector lexicon, like Boba Fett's like the like after Darth Vader, the next most important like style, like or design. It's what they base the entire like clone trooper look on is Boba Fett's helmet. So this is just such an important character that they have to give it something more to do than just shoot people and laugh and stuff. So
well, Mandalorian for the most part, because
Yeah.
I mean, you got Boba Fett before you got the Mandalorian, right?
yeah, so
Essentially, yeah.
but Mandalorian seems like he's getting like Din seems like he's getting some of the arc that Boba Fett got in the books, where
Right.
Boba Fett sort of became the leader of the, you know, the exiled Mandalorians. And that seems to be more along the lines of where they're going in the other series. And that's okay because they have the Darksaber, and that's probably the quote, the Mandalore would have the
Right.
Darksaber anyway. So that's all going to be over there. But what Boba Fett's trying to do is not, you know, is like establish something more equitable in criminality, because, you know, it's just more profitable to do that. And he wants to build something. He wants to create something, not just disintegrate things. I am glad that we got to see, like you said, DP, the rat catcher show up and like and say, he says, "I'm Boba Fett," and the rat catcher turns himself off.
He turns himself off. That was
down.
way too hilarious.
And he says, "Oh, what a cute little guy."
Yeah.
It throws him in the garbage.
Yeah, that's like that was like something I'd ask for specifically, right? I want to see someone be terrified of Boba Fett by name alone, right? Everyone thinks Boba Fett's dead. They're like housing Boba Fett's ship. You know, it's like Boba Fett's a mythical character even in the universe itself. So, you know, it's good to see. I like where they're going with, you know, Boba Fett saying, "I'll fight these guys. I'll fight the goldfish people myself, and afterwards, you know, we'll all benefit." But obviously, if I'm the one that's beaten, you know, up the, you know, the outside power, guess who's the number one inside power? So if you don't help me get it, guess who's not going to help me run it?
Right.
I mean, I like that meeting. That meeting scene was really interesting.
Yeah, because he was really taking control of the whole situation. So it was almost like, okay, you guys aren't going to openly support me. I'm just going to do everything. And when the dust settles, guess what? I'm going to still be on the throne. I'm going to be running everything around here. And you guys are going to be thankful. And you're going to benefit. And you're going to prosper. And you're going to know in the back of your mind, yeah, you know what? That guy really, he gave us a chance. He gave us a chance to have, what would you call it? Steel City. What would you call, like, if you
Equity?
got a chance to earn property?
Equity.
Yeah. So you had a chance, but you lost it. So now you get to benefit in the spoils, but you're not really earning any huge potential. You know, it's like
I'm not gonna make that same offer to you again.
right.
Right.
This is it. I'm taking care of business. I'm going to house you. You're going to be under my protection, but you're not really gonna. I mean, yes, you're gonna prosper very small, you know, but you definitely could. You're definitely losing. You're losing some benefits here. So he made it very clear, and I'm still wondering if those houses. So there was I don't know what the species are, but we're all familiar with them, like Pondu Baba, Walrus Man. You know, what was that, what was that species called? And the
Transdosians are there, and the dog people of of Cirrus Prime.
Yeah, they're there. So there are these very legitimate characters and species in the Star Wars world that are actually kind of missing out on a lot of this pie, a lot of this Boba Fett pie that's coming out. I thought, but I love the introduction of the Rancor and how that, like,
yeah,
everyone said, okay. They sat back down and continued. We will abide, and they had their drink.
Remember, Danny Trejo was down there with that Rancor, like, "Yo, good job, you know, biting the ceiling and stuff."
And are we going to see him again? I don't think so, because he's not credited anymore.
He's down, but he's there. You know, he's down there. Like, I miss my mom too, man. I miss him. I miss my mom.
You introduce him, he'll be there before the season ends.
You can't just do one Danny Trejo.
Yeah,
he has to be a recurring character if he shows up. It's like in Modern Family when he was Gus. You know, everyone knew there was going to be more Gus.
Yeah, he's got to come back. along with Red Stapler guy.
Stephen Root needs to be in everything, man. That guy's awesome.
Mhm.
How about the violent Phoenix Shan scene where she came up behind the
Yeah.
He sliced his throat. Yeah.
Oh my
Grievous?
God.
Was that not General Grievous?
Yeah.
I mean, that was totally like a
The
call.
spinning butcher knives. Yeah, it was hilarious. I seen that and I was like,
Those
told
could be
my wife-
lightsabers. Like, what was going on there? I was like confused.
As soon as that droid showed up on the screen, I told my wife, I was like, I want them to stop this whole show and explain to me where Chopbot comes from, and like, what's Chopbot's family like. And then when they killed Chopbot, I was like, let's see Chopbot's widow. Let's see the funeral. I want to see more. I want
And
to
the
see more
head in the
mourning for
lettuce.
Chopbot.
Head in the lettuce.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Head of
I was
lettuce.
like, this is pretty violent for Disney Plus, boy. Man.
Well, that's
The
what
robot
we pay
died
for.
slow. Like, that's
We pay
great.
for that.
I know, right?
Slow dying robot. That's like the only thing. Oh, its only thing is it's programmed to die slow. That's the only it does. Actually, I was on Twitter and I saw a picture of an art installation where there was a robotic arm that was powered with hydraulic fluid, and it was like gathering up the hydraulic fluid to put back into its tank, but eventually it would run out, right? Like no matter anything it did, it would eventually just stop. And eventually it seized up and stopped and quit working. Anyway, that was a slow droid death. And so was this. And it was like impactful. Like I didn't know that you had to get a special sort of knife to cut a droid like that. I didn't know there was like a droid knife.
Droid knife.
It's so wild.
I got a special.
A miniature arc welder, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting how they used that end scene, like the very last scene to bring in the Mandalorian music. Because without that, will we have any indication of their appearance on this show, at all? So they just
Not
bring
really.
that in as a teaser, that okay, we're gonna get. I mean, you have to put it out there. We're gonna get something, if not the next episode, episode after, somewhere Mandalorian is going to come in, into the picture. And it's sort of weird. I mean, I guess because we already know the Mandalorian, and it's cool that they would do a crossover. I guess in my eyes, I would rather see somebody else, appear, besides
Right.
something that we've already used before.
well, keep in mind they don't have to bring Din Djarin in. I mean, it was just a theme of maybe the Mandalorian Creed. Maybe they don't do a crossover with him. They just might bring in Mandalorians from Mandalore because although he is a bounty hunter by trade and he doesn't consider himself Mandalorian, he
Mhm.
was deemed an honorary Mandalorian. So it's kind of like best of both worlds type deal. So and obviously Fennec is the one who has the connects. So I'm sure she'll be bringing some new characters in. We may see some brand new Mandalorians. It could be in another creed of the Mandalorians that we aren't familiar with. It might not be the Night Owls. It might not be, who knows? Maybe they bring Death Watch back. Who knows? You don't know who may show up.
We know Filoni loves to input a Mandalorian plot, somewhere in there,
Right.
any chance he gets. So yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I can dig that. I mean, not necessarily Din Djarin, but having to explain to a casual audience why this guy wears Mandalorian armor,
Right.
and put that in there.
So imagine that conflict. What if Din Djarin did show up? So the last time he saw Fennec, he was trying to kill her, or at least capture her. And now he thought she was dead. Now she's not. Who brought her back to life? Boba Fett. Imagine that scene could be really cool. Like to me, like that's what I thought. I get what you're saying. They don't necessarily have to go that way. They can go some different, direction. But I would really like to see them bring the Mando into this somehow. I think that would be really cool because we know he's there. He's there. As far as I can, he never left the planet.
Right.
Right?
There is a little bit of a time jump. So if remember he's with Bo-Katan as well. So if he comes, she comes, because they have their whole
There
plot.
you go.
So yeah, it's going to be her, him. So it could be the crossover event, maybe
With the Darksaber.
right? So they're all together.
There's your muscle.
Yeah. I
But,
mean, if you're gonna get a team together,
A team
Maybe.
of Mandalorians. I mean, that's a formidable group. And if they show up in that light cruiser they stole off the Empire / First Order.
Mm-hmm.
That's firepower right there.
DP, what if you get your early appearance?
Sabine.
You know? Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
Ooh.
I mean, if
Little bit.
anybody, I think they would drop her in, to be honest, because if we think about the time this was shot, that's when they stopped the Mandalorian shooting. Pedro Pascal hasn't worked for Disney for a while. He was in Canada filming whatever he's doing, the Netflix series. So they've kind of shut down for a while. And when this was shooting, unless these were early shoots, I can't imagine too much Din Djarin, or even unless they do the stunt double, he doesn't take his helmet off. I'm pretty sure Pedro Pascal was out during the whole shoot of the Boba Fett series, shooting that other series. That's why they couldn't bring him back to get the season 3 done, and why it's been postponed to probably spring, maybe Christmas, if they can get it done. But yeah, I mean that would be cool to see Sabine kind of real
Yeah.
quick.
There's no Mandalorians that could show up where I would be like,
No.
not happy about that. Any of them, just any of them.
Any one of them. I'm more Mandalorian, stuff. I'm there. I love Mandalorian stuff.
And if they brought them in, couldn't they bring in some of the Bad Batch? Couldn't they bring in?
Stop it, Ken.
Stop it.
It.
That's what I'm saying. This timeline now is so connected, and we're seeing. I mean, just with this episode, they connected this current timeline, which we've already been talking about, connects with Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We've already been talking about that. We're talking about a difference of maybe 10, 15 years, and that's nothing in this galaxy.
Well, when you're talking about paid muscle, like you said, it has to be a big character drop. It has to be some EU character because Filoni's big for that, of some bounty hunter that we don't know about. Because when he
Card. That's who would show up in an EU book, right?
When she talks about how much money do we have? These Mandalorians don't work for that much. I mean, and they usually want paid Beskar.
Yep.
So when I'm talking about we need the reserves, it's going to be a big reveal, and it's probably not going to be somebody that most people are known, but it'll be a big EU reveal, I think.
Yeah, and there'll be enough backstory coming along with that to bring other elements in. I mean, that's why I think this episode was. It's what is it? So we're like almost midway through the season.
Yeah,
I think it was midway, right? The 7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, it's just seven episodes. So we're about like halfway. We're halfway there.
So this episode really had to go back and connect things and bring us up to date and fill in all the blanks and explain things like, okay, so what's that? The black melon. Now we know what it's called. We didn't know what it was called before. The fruit that they're drinking out of.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a name yet, so now we're like connecting all these little tiny little pieces together now, and
Get yours at Galaxy's Edge tomorrow. Going on black melon drink.
So with the background of like how Boba and Fennec Shan met and how they came together and everything, is that sort of like setting us up for maybe like some betrayal down the line for Fennec?
I hope
no.
She's more like she seems like she has a life debt than him. Yeah. And he tried to dump her. She wouldn't leave him. He tried to dump her a couple times. So.
Dump her a couple times, right? And he was like,
dump her.
Next time, don't touch my buttons. And then he's like, next time, what do you mean next time? Yeah, she's in for the long haul. She sees, she sees him as a supporter, as a promoter. I think she's gonna latch onto him and stay with him. I mean, she was impressed with his ship.
But did we need that? Did we need this origin story to establish that? Didn't we already know that? I don't know. It was some stuff there that they could have maybe just like shorthanded a bit and sped. But I know you guys are like super just okay. Just eating up.
I'm a sucker, man. You know that.
I wanted to see that. I wanted to see how they met because, I mean, think about it. The last time we knew that they were together all we saw was the bottom of his legs and her dead body. And then all of a sudden now they're together in this empire, right? They're building this new.
Right.
So we
didn't we see her when the Din Djarin ship blew up? She was on the corner she was a sniper. So she was in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, she was in season 2.
Yeah, she was the sniper on the hill. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, he didn't necessarily knew who she was. But DP, you brought an interesting point up earlier about the personalities that they're running with, and Hitch alluded to this as far as these bounty hunters just aren't these like I guess like these big bad characters that like are these Western gunslingers. They do have depth. We are seeing maybe a different side what people wanted to do, and I kind of alluded to this before the show even started. Like if Disney Plus were to ever try a rated R series, and not for maybe sexual content, but like violence, this would be the character just based on his backstory. But I like the way they've taken the character. I mean, that would be the only way you can take him is it would have to be a mature rated show, a lot more darker story, and based on what they're doing with these stories, I don't think it would have fit into the whole universe how they're doing it. So I kind of agree that it's better to maybe keep them as less barbaric characters because that's what everybody sees them as is these Mandalorians as being just war barbarians. They're just a creed of people who just love, as they said, they like violence. I believe that's what Palpatine even alluded to them, and some EU novels and even some canon novels they write that this Mandalorian race are just barbaric. They're barbarians. All they care about is war and war. And you're seeing the depth of the people. And it's one of those things that we talk about normal life lessons. You don't know a book until to actually read the content. So you just can't judge it by that cover. So I like what they're doing with Boba, with Din. Even as we see Bo-Katan, the humility in him, and we saw that even in Rebels as we discussed our watch alongs through that series. So I kind of like what they're doing with all the characters, but I still like to see that a little more gritty. Maybe we'll get it somewhere along the line in one of these shows. Who knows?
I thought this was a pretty gritty episode, man. We got a Trandoshanian's arm ripped off by a Wookiee in a casino for no reason other than he had money.
For no reason. Right. I watched it a couple of times. I couldn't see what his motivation was. Why did
I didn't like that they were winning. Just doesn't like to see anything.
Doesn't like that they were getting more than he was.
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, he brought that tremendous hater energy.
Right.
That's the thing about a Wookiee. I mean, they are haters and they will rip your arm off. Sort of hope for the Transdojan's sake that they grow another one fast. But this is a place where you can get a techno arm pretty easy. It does some wild stuff.
A couple credits will get you all fixed up.
Yeah, just a little bit.
The club owner tried to calm him down and everything. He was just like, okay, I'd rather give you the money so I can.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot.
I'm Black Crested, Chrysanthemum and everything, this is not going to work. And I knew I knew Boba was going to recruit him. I mean, I just had that feeling. As soon as he let him go, okay, he's going to be a member of his army or whatever, group or whatever, in a later episode. And sure enough, he's there recruiting them,
And that's so gangster. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's so.
He sees value.
Yeah, he's value, and you don't need numbers. You need strength and brains. And what was Fennec?
Yeah,
both. Yep. Strength and brains. And you go back to, the mobsters. The Godfather. Mm-hmm. They didn't have huge armies around them, but they had people that would get the job done. They had people, especially when you got into the entourage, the people that went with them to protect them, to get, whatever they were going on, business negotiations. They had people that just were there and they had a specific job and they did the job well. That Wookiee's going to do a lot of jobs really well.
I mean, you have a big Wookiee there to intimidate. Mm-hmm. That's all you need. Be silent, hold a gun, intimidate.
That's right.
Talking and negotiating.
That guy doesn't have to do nothing. He just has to be. Mm-hmm. And Fennec,
he's gonna ride in on a Rancor.
Yep. The Rancor is part of his army too. He can open that door and release him. And there you go. That takes out like 50% of your 50% of your enemy right there with a Rancor, especially a baby Rancor.
What a brilliant move to have that meeting right there and the table right there over the Rancor pit. That was just like, just straight like, okay, if I need a response and to get them scared and everything, yep, that's what's gonna work. Yep, and sure enough,
Yeah, and he was like, "Sit back down, everybody." You know, it's like, don't worry about it. I'm sitting on this thing too. I'm sitting on this door too. So just know it's there.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed. Did you see the detail of Chrysanthemum's costume? Like, I think it was over the left eye. If you saw close enough, there were scars of where like something clawed it, and you saw like the raw meat under it. It was just like I was watching. I was like, man, that's like a really, really badass costume. Like, 'cause you see Chewie, and Chewie has an iconic costume, but the detail they put into Chrysanthemum, he has like claw marks on his arm, and you'll see like stuff where they kind of showed the scars of him, like the battle scars. I was like, man, that's really cool. That I mean, I guess it's technology where they're going, but I mean, the costumes, even Boba's his armor. I mean, it's just it looks so much better. When we seen him originally, it was kind of loose on him, wasn't. Now it's fitted. It's everything just looks neat, like it's refined.
So what was the bar owner saying about him? Like, what was he, like a wrestler? What was his conquest? What was she alluding to? What's his
Oh, dude. So he's a gladiator. Yeah.
He used to,
fight
remember
other-
in the Mandalorian, he would do those ring fights like that we see in
Yeah.
the Mandalorian. So he was a paid prize fighter, kind of gladiator.
Well, one of the best.
okay.
He was big time. He was
like, known, yeah. And something
Yeah.
happened. He probably got beat up, and then it was his
Maybe.
fall.
Well, who knows how long ago that was? Wookiees lived for so long. They lived like to be hundreds and hundreds. Like Chewbacca's 240. Who knows how old this old mashed up?
So would he be like the Grim Reaper? Like, would he be like that big? Like, if you're talking like wrestling, is he like?
He's like the Undertaker.
He had a streak.
He's the Undertaker. Okay.
Yes.
Everybody loves the Undertaker, though. I mean, I get my picture taken with the Undertaker. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Well, I like that. Let's make sure we make that comparison, because the Undertaker's huge. I mean, and he's big, and he just used his bigness for to win. You know, he was just intimidation, and he was dark. He rolled his eyeballs up into his head and everything. You know, so he had all that going on.
Yeah.
All Chrysanthemum has to do is sit up like he does when he gets knocked down.
Yep. Just sit up and with his knuckle.
Oh yeah,
That's an easy way to sell the show to people. Hey kids, it's Undertaker basically. He's on the show.
It's Undertaker. That's all you need to know. You know.
Lots of wrestling analogs. What a great episode, though. I mean, I really this checked a lot of boxes for me. Things I was asking for. The Boba Fett intimidation. Finally, let's finish the backstory. Let's move forward. Tie us into Mandalorian. Move the plot along. Tell me what happened to the ship. Explain why he had to wait because he didn't have extra muscle. I mean, it all makes sense. So this episode did a lot for me to, move the plot forward, push us forward toward the next piece, which is, whatever's going on with Din and Grogu and the whole gang we left behind at the end of Mando. So looking forward to the resolution here.
It'd be really interested if they even go there as far as like, with that plot, instead of saving it for season 3 of the Mandalorian and stuff, to address that here. I guess it would be really great for hardcore.
Season 3 of the Mandalorian's a time jump. They've already said that, so it's not going to be close to this. It's a time jump.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
oh wow! So that means that if Din Djarin does show up, a lot of that would have to be addressed, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but they did already confirm that there's a time jump for the Mandalorian season 3.
Interesting.
How long did they say?
Not sure, but I know there's a time jump. I mean,
they're for all this crap to happen.
Yeah. But yeah, even I was just thinking about that. How cool would that be though if they just? I mean, they don't need muscle for Din, right? Just drop the light cruiser in from space, just peek it in and just blast from sky, right? How sick would that be? If you just saw the light speeder just kind of pop in the atmosphere and just rain down like Thrawn, kind of did, and we saw that episode of Rebels. Just drop some bombs down and just be out, in and out. That's all I need to see. You don't need to show the characters.
Spikes.
Yeah. I mean, they have everything on there, right? They have TIE fighters, TIE destroyers. I mean, they have the whole ship, right? So they command all of it. How sick would that be? I mean, thinking about that.
It would make them a real, like, the ultimate hired guns in the area, right? Like, they're
Right.
probably, like, they could probably fight the government in most cases, because we know the government's scrappy and young.
Scrappy.
They'll get they'll give anybody a badge. They won't even vet them to see if they're crazy or not. They'll just be like, you can be a marshal. That's just how it is.
Boba taking out that speeder game was awesome. That was just crazy, and the way he was looking while he was doing it. I mean, it was just, you know.
Did that not smell like video game level right there?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, oh, you know what? I smell a Book of Boba Fett VR video game coming from somewhere.
Yeah,
that would be. I mean, I'm down. I already have my credit card out. Let me buy it. So, what was my thought? I had a thought. I got lost. But you know, with all this going on, I mean, how intense would that be if they just really brought in all these other characters that we were just all talking about, and it was all in the last part of this season, and we got everything that we wanted here. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like
so you're talking about the Avengers Assemble moment, DP's
yes,
Endgame moment, as we say,
because they own that too, right? They own Marvel, so they could definitely take concepts. I mean,
yeah.
They have Iron Man flying here for all we know.
That episode 9, though. Remember, we had the Avengers Assemble in episode 9.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's not go there.
It's been done.
Yeah, but I mean, I see what you're talking about, you know, Ken. I mean, you had like you know, several characters from what we've seen before, you know, come up in. I mean, you're talking about a big war that's supposed to happen, you know, a coming war. You're talking about a coming war. So something's going to happen. Somebody's going to show up, you know, and it's going to be a big thing to, you know, to help them fight. I hope it's not just an episode where it's okay, you're building to this and then drop everything into one episode and that's it. You know, I hope it's like a couple episodes.
Yeah, because this Pike syndicate. I mean, they're huge. I mean, there's as far as I can see, there's thousands of them.
You know what just hit me that would be indeed. This will hit Hitch another way, and I know it will. You know, we talk about how big the Pikes are and how they're bringing in, you know, starship transports of soldiers. Right? There's not enough Mandalorians, but they have a ton of money. And what does a ton of money buy you?
Anything you want.
Specifically, it buys you clones.
Oh yeah,
because you're going to need bodies, right? So what if we go back, as you said, to that planet? You know,
Kamino.
Kamino's there. Omega's still there.
Oh, wow.
She's went back. You know, that factory might have been shut down, but I'm sure there's other cloning factories. And what if we get that Boba, that Jango, that flashback where you know that's it. Because you're going to need mad bodies. Think about it. That's the fastest way to get bodies is to get clones. That will be the ultimate thing to do that.
Replicate them, train them, and then hyperspace them to Tatooine. I would imagine that communication. Several starships have assembled outside the perimeter, sir. You know, they're just there. They're launching vessels toward us. Huge. I mean,
it's just clone troopers. They're just throwing them at us one at a time.
Yeah, they're just falling out of the sky.
Oh, damn!
But they have Beskar armor and jetpacks.
That's sick. That'd be crazy.
That would be something like, you know, crazy to see.
I want to see the clones that we already know about, though. You know what I mean? Like they'd be old and decrepit, you know. And it's interesting to see, like, as Boba Fett is kind of going through the life cycle of the clone, but at a pace that we'd be familiar with, right? So we already know, like, what he's going to mellow a little bit and be wistful about how he spent his time and be reflecting about, you know, was my entire life just a conflict if that's all it is? And so it makes sense for this character to follow that same trajectory that his brothers did when they were his subjective age, right? When they were in his 30-ish, 33 or 4. I think Boba Fett's like 45 or something here, whatever. So, you know, a midlife crisis sort of
45.
It's also interesting to me that, you know, he spends all that time with the Tusken Raiders, you know, doing all the training and learning all their ways and stuff, and he still feels the need to get his armor. You know, that's the armor that he that he feels most comfortable with. I mean, I know we have to see him. This
From
is
his
Boba
dad.
Fett.
That's from his dad. His dad, right? Django.
Right.
It's a family thing. He doesn't need it. He's got his dad's ship, so this is interesting. His dad took the ship off the assembly line and used it. Boba got it, modified it, put better sensors on it, better tracking, better shielding, better weapons, upgraded it right from what his dad was using it for. It's a whole family thing with Boba Fett from top to bottom. The Tuscans gave him purpose because I think he lost. I mean, they even said it when the Empire fell, the bounty hunters' jobs were gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
There wasn't any need for them.
Right.
So now he had to sort of reinvent himself and become not so much a bounty hunter or a solo dude. He had to find a purpose and find a way in the world. And I think he took some teachings from his dad and he built on that with what the Sand People were teaching him. And he became a new thing, a new way. I think that's going to be very important. And I think the other Mandalorians that are going to come in and help him are going to see that maybe he's going to be the new leader. Maybe Boba Fett is going to wield the dark saber at the end of this whole thing.
I hope not. I hope not.
Maybe he's going to have the seat of power in the Outer Rim plus the dark saber.
Plus the dark saber. Wow. Hey. I'm sure Bo-Katan will have something to say about that.
Hooray!
or Sabine. Yeah, or Sabine. Who knows?
Somebody will have something to say.
Someone's going to have.
Will the House of Ren try to reclaim the dark saber? Find out soon on this show or some other show.
We're just going to rewrite everything that Disney does right here. We're just going to change it and make it what we want it to be.
Right. Well, the cool thing is, and one final point on kind of the whole arc of this is when are we going to see some carbonite? I need to see somebody frozen. Let's not kill the leader of the Pikes. Freeze them in the carbonite, and then leave them somewhere in the palace. That's iconic to me. Han and everybody. That's the thing of the Syndicate, right? Is how you mark your supremacy is all these elites who tried to try you have been frozen and they're not killed, they're just basically jailed infinitely. So yeah, I'd like to see a carbonite scene. I mean, Din did it. Let's see Boba use some carbonite and freeze a couple people up here.
So would we bring Hondo in too, because his little buddy, what's his name? Mitch?
His pig buddy.
Little pig buddy.
Yeah.
The Huguenots were the only ones that really knew how to use the carbonite device. So maybe there's something there. Maybe we do see Hondo.
Yeah.
Oh, live action Hondo. Who would play him? Oh, the dude on the that beer commercial where he's when I do things, I do them interesting. He's the interesting guy.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that would be Hondo, right?
This guy.
The guy? Oh.
The Dos Equis guy. Yeah.
Most interesting man in the world.
He's the most interesting man in the world, and Hondo will tell you that he's the most interesting pirate in the galaxy, wouldn't he?
That would be hilarious. Yeah,
I would love to see that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And also, just to let you guys and let everybody know, Jay, I did see your comment, man. How you doing? Appreciate you coming on the stream here with us. So appreciate you listening. And anybody else who wants to interact, please do shoot us messages, whether it's in the comments, whether it's live. Please interact because we appreciate that. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you're enjoying the show so far.
Thank you, Jay.
Yay!
Yeah, but yeah, I mean overall, yeah, I can't wait to see, what's happening, like, next episode. If we do end up getting some more, Mandalorian lore at the most. We don't necessarily have to have Din Djarin in there,
Right.
but if we get some Mandalorian, I mean they played the theme and everything, so you gotta deliver,
That's a written check.
yeah, definitely. So that's my expectations. Next episode, we're going to see something that has to do with Mandalorian, or what have you.
Right.
So definitely got to cash that check. And just can't wait for this war to come up. To see how that develops. We're on the back half of the season coming down. Got about 3 more episodes left. It should be if I'm saying that this episode didn't have enough happening, then these next 3 episodes should have a lot. Preparing for this war.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel the same. I mean, think about it. We have 3 episodes left. We still haven't been to the other sides of Tatooine. We haven't seen the pod race yet. So maybe they explore the planet more to kind of build up, the army, if you will. So we have 3 episodes to do, and hopefully the runtimes pick up. They've been like around 37 minutes each ish after you average out that long one. So hopefully we get the longer runtimes these last 3, because as we know, me and Hitch are the marks or the suckers. So whatever you throw at me, give me an hour and a half. I'll be up. I'll be up.
Give me pod racing, please. I'll take it.
Please.
I'll watch the whole thing.
Please.
So you want gambling? Steel City? You want gambling? You want
gambling?
You want children to watch gambling on TV?
I mean, we do it here every Sunday.
I guess it is. It's always a gamble.
with a black chrysanthemum in the store in the corner, just waiting to just with that hater energy,
He's over there, and you're just like, he's gonna do something cool. I know he's gonna do something cool. I know it.
He's just gonna shoot a pod. He's gonna shoot a pod on a pod racer. Just blast it.
Just grab the pod.
Yeah. It's yeah, guys. I mean, it's been another fun episode here, and excited for everybody to be on again. I mean, we are finishing up as well this week for people who tune into Carbonite Bounty S. We'll be finishing up our Star Wars Rebels here, so please stay tuned and look out for that, as well as we just finished up our Rebels finale. So definitely a lot of other shows on there. Please interact, just like Jay has. We want more people to interact with us. Whether it be Facebook, on here, any of the unlimited avenues on social media, and ways of media to interact with us. Please do, as we appreciate. But
tell your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification button.
Yeah, please subscribe. It really helps us out. And like I said, as far as what we want to do in the future, it helps the channel out, so we can do funner things and get into some fun adventures with everybody. So until next week, guys, where we finish. We conclude with episode 5 of the back half of this kind of part 2 of Boba Fett. I will see you guys next week, and as we say every week, this is the way.
This is the way.